In America, World War II is widely regarded as the good war, not because it went well, with thousands of lives saved, per se, but it was the war that benefited America the most in the end, with fame and power looming to its side. This brightly contrasts against the United States' bad wars, such as the near-genocidal Indian Wars and the frightening dispute in Vietnam. As in America, the victory of World War II is celebrated, as a time where all ended well, where America lost few, and the most who came back were heroes. Much unlike the bad wars. There have been US presidents in the past, particularly George W. Bush, who greatly enjoyed to compare his ongoing war with terrorism to World War II, suggesting that his country is once again involved on the right, heroic side of a dystopian war of good and evil. However, wars are never quite this easy to read, never quite as black and white as Bush would like his country to believe. The United States does deserve the credit they get for the important contribution to the hard-earned victory that was eventually won by the Allies. However, the role of capitalist America in the war is hardly half of what was told by Theodore Roosevelt's claim that the US was the strongest, most righteous power in the war. America landed in Normandy in 1944, catching their first German trucks. These trucks were then found to be produced by American businesses, such as Ford and General Motors. As it turns out, corporate America had been serving Nazism. Before this had even occurred, back in the 1920s, many huge American corporations enjoyed large investments into Germany. The companies that partnered with Germany included IBM, with a new German subsidiary. General Motors eventually took over Germany's largest car manufacturer, Adam Opel AG, and Ford created a new branch to its company, becoming known as the Ford Werk in Germany's capital. Other US firms founded complex relationships with German companies. These included General Electric, Gillette, Coca-Cola, and Singer, among many. However, most corruption laid in law firms, investment companies, and banks, as many of these corporations invested into a German steel magnate, Thyssen, whose financial support enabled Hitler to come to power. The largest of these companies all had one thing in common. They were all managed by Prescott Bush, George W. Bush's grandfather. Prescott Bush, according to various sources, was an avid Hitler supporter and became one of his main financiers, funneling money to Hitler through Thyssen and benefiting millions of dollars in return. Many believe this is an unfortunate coincidence, and this funding had occurred before the war, and many, at the time, supported Hitler through his honeyed words and strong promises. However, this funding continued, and Hitler rose to power in 1933 and started to parade fascist beliefs and ideals. Even a suspicion arose in America as half the world expected a large outbreak of genocide. Prescott Bush, multimillionaire, business tycoon, and patriotic saint, continued to fund the infamous Thyssen, which at the time was a well-known Hitler supporter. Germany could not afford a war after the 10-year Great Depression that hit hard. The German economy was vulnerable since it was built upon foreign trade and loans, mostly from America. When these loans were suddenly due and the world market for German exports dried up, the previously successful industrial Germany stopped to a halt. As production levels fell, German workers were fired. Along with this, banks failed across the country. Savings accounts, years' worth of manual labor, were wiped out in a second. Inflation soon followed, making it all near impossible for low-class families to purchase necessities with invaluable money. How could Germany get out of debt in less than 10 years? America soon took pity on the falling country, and many rich banks started funding the country again, along with promising young politicians. A familiar name topped this list: Prescott Bush. World War II hit Germany full force on the fateful day of September 1st, 1939, when Hitler invaded Poland. This invasion was cited through large trucks and tanks created by GM and Ford, funded by Thyssen. Yes, World War II is waged by the Germans, Hitler is lead. Yet somehow, Germany managed to gain millions, even as the Great Depression hit hard. How can this be possible by normal means? Perhaps a sponsorship, or funding from a country with a huge boom in their economy. Bush did World War II.